And we're back with some more oxygen not included. And today we have a plan. Well, the guts of a plan. The plan I really want to get around to is I want to get into nuclear. I want to build ourselves a research reactor. Of course, this needs a bunch of stuff. We've got all of the tech except one thing. We don't have orbital research. So orbital research requires this over here, which gives us the orbital microlab. However, the orbital microlab consumes plastic, so we're going to need to research plastic first. To get plastic, we're going to need oil, which means we're going to need Atmo suits, and we're going to need those Atmo suits to get into the oil biome to get the oil in the first place. So, today is going to be about doing that. However, to fuel up those Atmo suits with oxygen, we're going to need to put ourselves together an electrolyzer system. Now, we could use algae, but yeah, it's just not the same. So we are going to turn this place into a nice big electrolyzer setup. And we also have one more thing we've got to do, and that is new printables are available. Now, checking them out here, I think, yeah, that looks like another mechatronics engineer right there. Plus, they've got a bit of excavation, so it'll help us right now. Please welcome Kay to the team. Kay will be joining us and going, well, I think we'll give them straight into carrying. And then after that, they can go around and get straight into mechatronics after that. For the time being, I'm just doing a few minor changes around the base. I'm putting in an extra ranch. That's not quite finished yet. We're putting in some gas reservoirs here with a switch-controlled gas pump. We are going to be letting chlorine into the base, or maybe a bit when we dig out through here, so if we do, I'd like to have the option to take all of those gases and dump them into some gas tanks. We have taken an extra power supply here and dumped it onto the grid. We now have 3 of them, but this one's only job is to power the atomic collider and the rad bolt generator. The reason being, if this loses power, all the rad bolts rapidly dissipate, and we really want to stockpile these, so any interruption to power on these would be bad. Really, really, really bad. It would set us back a lot. So let's not let that happen. That's why that's got its own power generator system. And over here we're putting in a few deodorizers because, yeah, our polluted oxygen somehow got a little bit out of control. I'm not even sure where it's coming from, but it's fine. We'll just put in a bunch of deodorizers about the place. It'll be okay. All right. Electrolyzer setup. Let's do this. We're almost ready to start on this, but something has become available. Hamson over here is just about ready to become a mechatronics engineer. In fact, they are now our first mechatronics engineer. Excellent. That means we can start getting into automation. How's our doc doing? You know what? We'll get them into suit wearing. We might as well. They've got a skill in it, so we can skill them up to there and get them a little bit of extra movement. Why not? There we go. This one here, this is our second researcher, and they're going to end up our orbital researcher. They've got the orbital microlab. They're going to go for that one. Our other person is already in atomic research, so, you know, we don't want to... We can't cross-skill this one, because if we put them into both, we might actually just run out of morale for them. So I'd prefer to have 2. Oh, and that person can get improved carry. Dear Lord, the amount of things going on here. I think, you know what, you've got enough crop tending, we will give you improved carry. A little bit of improved carry all around, I think, is the order of the day. Super hard digging, 1 improved carry, you can have 2 improved carry, and same again. So our diggers are now maxed out also. Our rancher, you know what, improved carry also, and Jeff, you are, actually, you're good the way you are. We'll just give you an extra in grilling. Alright, that takes care of that, but what we want to do over here is start taking all of these eggs. We've got a sage hatch egg has showed up. That's not good. We need to get that out of there. So I'm thinking automation time. We've got the equipment for it, so let's whisk all the eggs out and have them dumped over here. Well, they can pull them out of this section. You know what? We'll just build ourselves an evolution chamber and worry about the details later. And done. All of the auto sweepers here will pick up the eggs. Oh, actually, there's the first outflow of them now. All those eggs will get whisked away and dumped in here. Now, this will confuse a few people, but tubes can actually reach across those doors. In fact, let's make sure no one... They can still reach across those, and they can grab eggs if we need them to stock up these incubators. Do we need... We don't have any stone hatch eggs yet. You know what? We'll incubate another regular hatch egg in there, but we'll not make it continuous. And see, they'll go grab an egg from up there, and they'll bring it down, and boom, done. That allows us to keep our population stable by controlling what goes in here, and all the excess gets sent over there to hatch and turn into meat. And what are we up to? 600 kilos of water? Yeah, I think that should be enough. We'll put you to sweep only from now on. That should get us up to 1,000 kilos of water, and anything that goes in there will end up having breathing difficulties. Alright, let's finish clearing this spot out. We want to make this into our electrolyzer. And that's what our electrolyzer is going to look like. There is 6 gas pumps down the bottom. This is our traditional, like, just 3 kilos of oxygen per second. We're already up to 11 dupes, so that's going to be 1.1 kilos anyway. We might as well just go. We might as well just keep going. I mean, we're probably going to go to about 20, maybe more. So if we're going to go that far, Yeah, I'm just going to put in the 3 kilos. That way I never have to worry about adding on more. It's highly unlikely we'll go above 30 dupes. And even if we did, we can't really build an electrolyzer bigger than that. Okay, and yeah, we're just knocking out all the research we can in the background. While this goes on, we should be ready to go straight into interstellar research once this is done and we get down to the oil biome. We are just about ready to fire this up. We've got, let's see, these 4 coal generators will be what bootstraps this whole thing. We've got them all hooked up to a signal switch. Once that automation wire is flipped, that will provide power to this whole thing. Now, I've done a tutorial on this before, link in the top right. This is just 4 hydrogen generators. They're going to run off the excess hydrogen from this. This hydrogen will power the whole thing, and we're going to have to find a bleed off for the excess hydrogen, aren't we? Finally. Good to go. Now, one thing when always starting this up that gets people is turn them on and let them run for a bit. That's why I've hooked these all up to exit tanks. These gas tanks here will be able to soak up all the goodness that comes out of these. And by goodness, I mean the horrible mess that's going to come out of these. Okay, we'll turn these on. Yeah, there's enough power. There's like 600 watts in there, but wait until they get some coal into the rest of them. Once we've got some coal in there, come on, there we go. Now we've got enough power. Perfect. If we check here gas-wise, yeah, this is pure oxygen, and it's below the 300 kilos mark, but give it a moment. Give it a moment. We're not quite there yet. We're going to have to get some water up as well. Now, the water is coming from the gas pump down. Seriously? How is there no power to that? There's power going... Yeah. So this thing is also going to power not just these gas pumps and all that, but it's also going to power this water sieve and this liquid pump. Liquid pump will pump up the water. It will get sieved. That sieved water will get sent in here. How are we looking? Yep, there we go, finally. Here comes the clean water. Clean water goes in there. Clean water gets electrolyzed into hydrogen and oxygen. And how you doing? Okay, so this is just going to start sucking it out. Now, you could just turn this gas pump off and wait until more hydrogen collects, but soon there'll be nothing but hydrogen left up the top. Come on. Come on. A little bit more. And as you'll notice here, all of this gunk that's coming at the top is just getting siphoned off into this tank over here. It's dead waste. We don't want it anywhere near it. Ooh, is that printables? Let's see. We haven't found a good duplicate in a while. Not really feeling any of these. I mean, they'd be okay pawns, but none of them are actually really that worthwhile. Take the poke shell spawn? Actually, I'm not even... I don't want even the poke shell spawn. It's too much effort to take care of it right now. Bye-bye. Over here, how are we looking? Oh, yep, now the gas is all fixed. So the top here is all completely hydrogen. That is perfect. Then gas-wise, we're going to do some severing. You sever that there. Connect that up there. Oh, and maybe connect those up as well. That will be our overflow. Now all the hydrogen goes in there. Nice. Okay. So all the hydrogen is now flowing into this section. That fills up this battery. These hydrogen generators will power the whole system once we disconnect those coal generators. And I think we're good. Okay, all of those tanks are full. We're going to have to decommission those tanks, but that's fine. How much of a mess is in here? Carbon dioxide, oxygen, and hydrogen. You know what? We'll just deconstruct you. We don't need you. Yep, same, and same, and same. Now that we've got this all cleaned out, we can now start... Whoa, that's a lot of polluted oxygen. What did I do? You know what? Not going to worry about it for a minute. What we're going to do is we're going to delete those gas tanks. Then we're going to run this gas through this cold biome and right back out again. And that should give us a bunch of cold oxygen to feed into our base. Might want to... Ooh, it's 3 in, 3 out, so we're probably going to need to put in some blocks in this tunnel. That looks like a perfectly reasonable mass of pipes. Yeah, just granite piping and then a little bit of radiant gold amalgam on the end. It's fine. Actually, I don't think gold amalgam is the best one, but we don't care at this point. We'll get rid of you, and you. Nope, and that thing can go as well. Gas will go through here, it'll pick up a bit of chill, and then we'll send it all back to the base. And then we can start finally building our Atmo suit docks, which will allow us to get our hands on oil. In the meantime, we've just been hammering out research in the background. I don't think there's only a few left here at the bottom that we haven't completed. Yep, we'll grab that, whatever it is, then that, then these two. Yeah, like once we get the last of these, we're pretty much done on all the atomic research, barring the stuff we require the interstellar for. Next up, we do a ginormous run of pipes all the way from over here into our base. And then we're going to split them up, one going up, one going down, and then we're going to have one pass straight through and go to the Atmo suit docks on the other side. We're going to use our Atmo suits over here to core out the rest of the map. this part of the map will probably seal off or do something else with. I don't see us exploring too much without the Atmo suits, especially after all the effort we've gone through to get them. There we go. Oxygen's flowing. Electrolyzer seems to still be functioning. We've disconnected the power for now. Yeah, still working. Hydrogen quite hasn't backed up to fill all four, but we're only using about 2 kilos, so we don't need the fourth hydrogen generator, I think. We can seal that off. These gas pipes up here are made of radiant. That just means the hydrogen passing through here will absorb any heat. This thing will get to about 90 plus degrees, but all the hydrogen, when it's consumed by the hydrogen generators, is destroyed, and that takes all the heat with it. Yeah, thermodynamics don't really mean that much around here. Oh, what do we got for a blueprint today? Lots of people will operate, but no, we've already got enough of those. We'll grab the sweet legs, I suppose. Why not? We'll find a use for them. Okay, with all of that done, I think it's time we put together some Atmosuit docks, probably over this side of the map. Let's just pick out a nice spot. A simple plan. We're just going to wall in right after our hatches, or ranches. So we'll just wall in up here, seal in the base across the top, and then everything outside here will be Atmosuit territory. Very simple, very straightforward, and oh yeah, we'll put them right here. The problem you face is how expensive these are. To get an Atmosuit is now 300 refined metal. Yeah, I think that happened a while ago, or is it, yeah, 300 kilos of copper or 300 kilos of iron. We're currently smashing up some iron to make them. We're also going to need some reed fiber, but we've got enough of that lying around. We should be able to at least make a couple to start. I think what we'll do is we'll put 2 suits in here, and we'll use those to drill down. We only really need a couple of good diggers. Downside, though, is skills. This is... Okay, our 2 best diggers, they can't really afford to get into exosuit training. That would be an extra, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 morale requirement? No, we cannot afford that. Even if I skill scrub them, it would still take, what, a minimum of 13 morale? And just, they're too close to... They'd be too close to borderline breaking at that point. I think if we get them onto barbecue, once our ranches are fully online and we're on nothing but barbecue, that would be doable then. But for now, I think we're just going to have to leave them the way they are. We are going to drill down, though, as much as we can, because, well, we don't really have to worry until we hit the oil biome, and by then we should hopefully have a couple of suits. And we only need just enough oil to start getting plastic and a few other things. We don't need more than a couple of people in the oil biome. Well, on the way down here, I realised something important. I exposed this ages ago and then forgotten about it. This is actually a cool salt slush geyser. That's, yeah, that's perfect. We are immediately going to dig that up and start stockpiling that water. We can use that immediately. Well, that takes care of that. Hopefully that is actually ready to be active. We would really like some extra slush geyser water. That would be perfect for doing some metal refinement. Down here, oh, we've stalled out. We can continue that on. Where is this oil biome? Seriously, how big are these? I do remember that the large asteroid was very big, but I think I'm just used to the spaced out ones now, which were an awful lot smaller. This feels odd, and of course we've run right into a point of interest building. I think we're going to have to divert our ladder system. That is a minor annoyance. We are digging like crazy. We still have not hit oil. In fact, the next biome I'm seeing is caustic. How? How is it this deep down? Alright, let's keep going. We might want to do a little side detour to grab ourselves some more reed fiber. We ran out of reed fiber for our suits. All of our waiting has finally paid off. Eventually we've got ourselves the duplicate we were looking for. Well, one of the ones we were looking for. A dupe with +7 ranching. About time. What cycle is it? Cycle 74. Sometimes it can be a little tricky to get your hands on these. Please welcome John Fouchy to the team. They're going to be our dedicated rancher. About time. We're going to need it, considering the amount of hatches we're up to. Actually, how many are we up to? We got 7, 7, and 7. Actually, no, 1. Damn it. We need more stone hatchling eggs. Thank you very much. We're going to make that continuous. Same over here. We were switching everything over to stone hatches so that we can, well, just switch them over to cheaper forms of rock. Alright, all that done. It's time to continue on down. Seriously, still no oil biome? Where are you? Well, digging down, we managed to find the teleporter. There's actually notes with this now, and it explains quite brutally that, yes, when you teleport people, you actually kill them. So teleportation destroys the copy on one end and then puts it back on the other. That's, yeah, not great to know. I mean, this is a very happy-looking game. I don't like the thought that we're killing the duplicates every time we send them to a teleporter, but hey, that's it. On the other hand as well, it also gives us a view of the planets. So we've got a view of another planet out there now. You know, this is the planet we started on, and we can already see what geysers we've got access to. We've got a water, salt water, and a cool salt, which means we've got 3 different water sources, which means we can support just a stupid amount of dupes. And on the other side, we've got, on this new planet that we can find, water, salt water, cool slush, cool salt slush, and just a regular cool slush. That's 4, and polluted water. That's 5 sources of water on the other one. Think of the amount of duplicants you can support on this. Dear Lord, that's too many. We could support so many. You're thinking each one could support at least 10? Oh no, way more than that. So we're looking at 150 easy? No, the game's already sluggish and we've barely even started. Let's find this oil biome. Jesus, that's polluted oxygen. We've got a long way to go. We are almost there. We can see the oil biome. It is riddled with germs, but oh my god, there's zombie spores everywhere. It's fine. Who's trapped? How did you do that? Get out of there real quick. Perfect. Okay, now that you're out of there, let's brick that up again, shall we? Whop it. We just want to basically force the water out of the way. We don't want to dump a bunch of water into the oil biome. That would be not pleasant. Ooh, and there's plenty of lead down here. Yes, lead we can use for wiring. And fossil we can use. Yes, okay, so we're going to get all of our industrial stuff sorted once we get in here. We just got to make sure to avoid all the pockets of zombie spores. We'll crush them all diagonally, but that's a... Yeah, they really have improved on the zombie spores. There's a lot more down there. Normally you could just waltz in and have to deal with maybe 1 or 2 plants. That's 3 I can see, and we've barely touched on this. So while we were down here digging all the way down to find ourselves some oil, I did forget a couple of things back at base. The main one I forgot was I let the hydrogen overflow on the electrolyzer, because of course I did. Might as well, why make new mistakes when you can continue to make the old ones? We'll dump all the excess hydrogen into that hydrogen generator. We should probably dump that onto our power grid, but you know what? For now, it's fine. It can just burn itself out. We've dumped a little bit of hydrogen into our base, but it's fine. It's fine. This should catch back up in no time. Ooh, excellent. Okay, and the excess hydrogen will now get dumped into the hydrogen generator. I think that's enough that we may need to add some more. What's happening to the water here? Oh, ice is melting. Never mind. Alright, down here, we are going to put ourselves in a little bit of a liquid lock. We're going to fill it full of crude oil to make sure nothing gets out of here. And then we're going to make sure that the only people go in here are people in Atmo suits. And we're going to try and avoid dealing with any of those germs for as long as possible. I hate... Well, zombie spores, I'd say I hate dealing with them. It's just more a case of I've tended to avoid dealing with them, so I'm not sure if I want to start dealing with them. Crushing them diagonally seems... Oh my god, there's 2 of them in there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 active zombie spore spots. Wow, that's, yeah, they really decided that zombie spores were not going to be a problem. Alright, let's see how much lead and oil we can get without triggering any of them. To avoid dealing with these germs, we're going to diagonally build these blocks. That will force all of those nasty gases out of the way and allow us to bypass that area. If you keep doing this, you can eventually squash the whole thing up. It's slow, but it's a safe way of getting rid of the germs. I'd rather not contaminate our crude oil just yet because it will get into our plastic. I think we can actually cut safely across here and get access to the oil reservoir if we need to as well. Oh, and that area too. Ooh, we might want to do a bit of an explore around the oil biome just to make sure that there's no breaks in the abyssalite. What's the temperature looking like? It's 80 over here all the way to 83. Doesn't look like there's anything yet, but it's better to be safe rather than sorry. I'd hate to get over to the other side and find it just covered in sour gas. We are going along just fine. We are actually cutting our way right through here, though. There's another zombie spore spot. More zombie spores over here. More zombie spores over here. They've really improved upon the zombie spores. I got to give it to them. Though a lot of the areas like this one will eventually become a non-issue. It's like over here. You notice this place is pretty much has unbreathable gas, and all the germs have died out, except in the oil. The reason for that is the slicksters just ate all the carbon dioxide, and once enough of the carbon dioxide is gone, the spore kids are under pressure, and they stop... they stop giving off germs. Well, they get stifled. Problem solved, I suppose. That kind of eats all the germs. I suppose the germs will eventually die off, maybe? No, not really. Those things are pretty much immortal. The only way to get rid of them is chlorine, if I recall. Oh, one amazing quality of life improvement. All the abyssalite, 74.9 degrees, the top layer. Oh, whoa, where is it? Yeah, like there. But no, you see, all the top layers, the stuff touching, is all 74.9. I haven't found any mess-ups just yet. That means you won't accidentally turn the whole place into a sour gas boiler if you just touch the abyssalite. It used to be if crude oil would touch abyssalite that was above 400 or 500 degrees, it would start spontaneously boiling. It was a weird problem, but now they seem to have fixed it enough that you won't have to worry about that unless you start digging into the abyss light. We're not going to dig into the abyss light. We've got our liquid pump in here. We just came down here for the oil. We're going to grab a whole bunch of that crude oil and we're going to use it for doing our industrial stuff. Namely, we're going to use the crude oil for coolant loops inside of our metal refineries, and we're going to use it for making plastic. I think plastic first because I want to get space science so that we can get access to nuclear reactors. I really, really want nuclear reactors. This is where the liquid's going to be pumped out of. We've got power going up here, and we're just going to have just a local coal generator, smart battery, a little bit of wires, nothing too crazy, and then we're going to have to pump it all the way up to the top. And let me just say, it's going to be a long journey with that. Ooh, 6 in husbandry? I mean, considering the amount of water we're going to end up with, so, another rancher wouldn't hurt. Please welcome Zachary Zeno to the team. Zach there will be going, of course, into ranching, though, yeah, their skills are going to be terrible to start. We're not ready to stop just yet, though. At some point, we're going to have to stop and get everyone skilled up, get them into the gym, sweep the whole map to improve performance. But seriously, the map feels huge. I don't know if it's way bigger than normal. I think this may be just a normal-sized map, but it feels so big after playing on the asteroid-sized versions. Oh, and the moment we get all of this piping done and the power and all that up, we're going to have to dig up to space so that we can get the rockets up so that we can fire a rocket into space to do the space science. Yep, good times, good times. Just let me finish this off here real quick. We're putting in a bunch of gas piping as well so we can pump oxygen down here. Our dupes are still allowed down here even if they don't have Atmo suits, and they're having to travel further and further distances to get oxygen. So I'm thinking, yeah, we'll just stick in a few gas vents here and there to prevent people from suffocating to death. Only a select few in the Atmo suits are allowed past this doorway here. It made everything just that little bit faster. Ooh, and we've got a neural vacillator we've tapped into. Who should we chuck on this? Actually, we'll wait. We'll wait for we get a rocket pilot. We want a rocket pilot to go on that so they can get the stress reduction. It makes them far more resilient when they go out into this space. And at the same time, I think we can demolish most of this. I flicked on all the switches. These things are sort of logic puzzles, but realistically, you just turn all the switches on and it worked. So not really much of a logic puzzle this time around. With that all demolished, our next plan is going to be get our hands on some more reed fiber. Unfortunately, our suits are starting to look a little bit shabby. So I'm thinking we're going to have to demolish a little bit of the slime biome. There's a bunch of seeds in there we can get our hands on. So I'm thinking demolition job. Yeah, we can demolish this pretty quick. We'll get a few cases of slime lung, but I'm not too worried. Let's see, where's a good place? Yeah, I think here we'll just demolish that. That'll also give us a whole bunch of gold amalgam to work with. Well, we continue on with all of this. I think we've got just about enough now. There's, 7 there or something? And we should also harvest that as well. That should give us more than enough to tide us over for a bit. We've even got, how many over here? There's 5 in each one of those stacks. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. There's 25 over there. We'll get around to that in a bit. We do have another duplicate choice, and I've been looking at this one, and I think we've got a Rocketeer. They've got piloting and science. Now, with piloting and science as a bonus, that means they'll get a heart symbol in this, and also science, which is these two. So, yeah, science and piloting, they would make the perfect pilot. They would have a morale bonus for each one of those, meaning they're far less likely to have mental breaks. You usually want to send a pilot and then leave them on their own for a while, so we'll see what happens. Let's hire them and skill them up for our first rocket mission. Please welcome Kai Yin to the team. They're going to be our rocket pilot. I am, of course, butchering that name, I am sure, but I can't figure out another way to pronounce it. Alright, with them on the team, that just means, actually, I want to sweep up that reed fiber and see what's inside this place over here. And yes, another neural vacillator. You know what? Let's find out what's in here. I would like to see if we've got any more snazzy suits. It could hopefully help a few people. After digging on just a little bit more, what we ended up doing was going over here and grabbing the last of this reed fiber. We'd come this far, why not? We'll also submit a bioscan over there. I'm pretty sure there's another neural vacillator in there. We're also going to add on some extra incubators, and we're going to throw on an extra ranch. We've started to max out all of these. I think this one's at, yeah, that one's at 7 of 8. 7 of 8, and 7 of 8. And with a couple of extra incubators made out of lead, we'll just chuck in some more stone hatch eggs and expand that out. Ooh, game's a bit chuggish. Well, okay, that's also the save at the moment. It definitely doesn't feel as smooth as it used to before. I think they've definitely added a lot. It feels more sluggish. All right, next up, we want to go straight to space. We want to get ourselves that space science so that we can finally get nuclear power. The one thing we've been looking for this whole episode. It's fine, we're almost there. Let's just drill up a bit and we'll find it. Ooh, one thing I should point out. We have some sleet wheat grain here that's been mutated. There's some mutated, unidentified sleet wheat grains right here. It grew in range of wheezewort, and it was within 25 rads. If you have 25 rads, or a plant is exposed to 25 rads, when its seeds drop, you have a chance for it to give mutated seeds. This instance, yep, we got mutated ones. I'd love to test them, but no. We're on a mission. Our mission is to get reactors up and running, so we're just going to drill up and we'll worry about the seeds later. We can make our own if we need to. The space biome is incredibly cold. I was trying to put together a liquid lock and then I'm realizing there's not really many liquids that you can put up here that won't instantly freeze. Even crude oil will freeze at these sort of temperatures. I mean, carbon dioxide is just, yeah, liquefying the moment it comes out of our dupes' mouths. So I'm thinking we'll double insulate this so that we can keep it hopefully insulated from the cold. So we'll put a layer of insulation around here, and this inside layer is obsidian so that the, we're having a little bit of a problem with shovels trying to get out. So that should keep them in there, assuming we can, get this insulated in time and the shovels don't go absolutely crazy and start breaking in. They can still get in there for now until we get some liquids in there to stop them. I just realized, these shovels can't dig through pneumatic doors anymore. They used to need steel pneumatic doors, but now any pneumatic door stops them. That's actually good. That makes our lives an awful lot simpler. I wonder if we could just pour some water in here and have enough mass. I mean, we've insulated all these tiles, so theoretically, no, that's a pretty cold door. I think we'll hold out for a minute. We'll lose some of the gas passing up through here, but I don't really care too much. We've limited the door restrictions, so the only people out of here are people in Atmo suits, and it's time to get our rocketry on. Let's put a rocket platform down. We've smashed up some iron. Yeah, that's perfect. We'll put that there. This will be more temporary than anything else. Oh, we're going to need a bunch of metals, aren't we? And plastics. In that case, while that's going on, we will go down here. And we're going to set up metals and plastics here. We're going to get ourselves a bit of metal by using this water as coolant. And we're going to get some plastic as well because we've got some petroleum we're going to use. This is going to be a very simple setup. We suck water out of here. We put it into the metal refinery. Metal refinery spits it out this side. Also, we have collected all the lead from down in the oil biome and stuck it in here. Yeah, because it's nice and cool in here and it stopped it from overheating the place. This stuff came out at about, 80, 90 degrees. We didn't want to cook any of our base. This allows us to make lots and lots of conductive wire out of lead. This lead is just amazing for making conductive wire early on. It's cheap, cheerful, and it's a massive upgrade for your power in a grid. Its overheat potential is terrible, so maybe don't go making batteries out of it, but it's useful in pretty much all other respects. Okay, once we get a few batches of steel through this, we can put down a plastic press. The only reason for that plastic press, so that we can get space science. That's literally it. You need to consume plastic to make space science, from what I've read up. Alright, let's get this finished. Oh, and the automation wire is already in, so we'll stick in that. So 1200 watts plus the refinement for our plastic is... Where do we put it? 240? Ah, easy peasy. Oh yeah, we want to make the plastic press out of steel because, it overheats incredibly easy otherwise. Of course, don't forget to forget the kiln every time so that you don't make any refined carbon. Let's just queue up 10 pieces of refined carbon. That should be more than enough to get us all the steel we need. And let's just check out, say, how much iron have we got? 300 kilos? Yeah, we'll make about 3 of that, and then we'll make about 10 of these. And you know what? We'll make another 7 of those afterwards. Why not? I know we don't need that much iron to make the steel. The steel, you only need 70 iron to make the steel, but a little bit of spares never hurt anyone. Our first batch of steel. Not as important as our first batch of plastic will be. And so plastic production will begin. The steel, we actually got enough of it to make the plastic press. The polymer press goes in there. We're going to have the output steam just come down here, and it'll be output near some cold water, so it should instantly condense. Now, the petroleum is going to take a little bit of a long journey. The petroleum, there's a little bit of it there. And then if we keep going down, there's a whole bunch more petroleum. And then if we keep going down, yep, there's the petroleum there. Right down beside the oil biome. I mean... I don't care if we burn through most of this crude oil making plastic. We only need a few batches of it, and then afterwards we can still go through and get more crude oil. There's plenty of crude oil patches we can tap into that don't have... Oh my god. Look at that. Spore kids. Growth halted. Atmosphere. Vacuum. In here, growth halted. Not quite vacuum yet, but it will be eventually. In here, vacuum. These slicksters have basically vacuumed out most of the area, neutering most of the spore kids. Spore child. Or spore kids? Yeah. I find that kind of nice. Oh, and as well as that, we have radium down here. So we've got our uranium ore, I should say. So we've got our uranium ore down here that we're going to use for a nuclear reactor. But that's the only batch we've found so far. And considering the amount of the map we explored, we need more uranium. If we want to run the reactor like I want to run the reactor, we want to run our whole base off this stuff, we're going to need a lot more uranium. Well, we'll worry about it in a minute. We'll worry about it in a minute. Oh yeah, up here, we're going to build our rocket. All we need to do is get this into space so we can do space science. That's it. That's all we've got to do. Now, I also know you can do some weird things, I believe, with solar panels and batteries and turn these things into, well, power towers. Nah, not bothered. Seems like an awful lot of effort. We'll just make that out of, yeah, we'll stick a battery on there and maybe stick on a couple of solar panels. Oh, we don't have enough glass. Oh, it doesn't matter, we can grab some more. To finish off this ship and make it, well, useful for us, we're going to need to go into the interior and we're going to have to build a science station in here. So what we want is an orbital microlab. It requires 200 plastic to make and it consumes 60 watts. Right. Well, we do have solar power on this sucker. Now all we have to do is put in the rest of the stuff. So let's get ourselves a power outlet. Yep, provides power to connected buildings. There, I suppose? Yeah, we're not making this very complicated at all. Okay, that goes to there, and then all we're going to do for oxygen is oxalite. That should be it, and all we need to do is create, I think it's 10 points of research? Let me double check. How much do we need for the reactor? 10. That's it, 10 orbital research points. That is nothing. We should be able to get up there, grab it, and come back down, though we'll probably take a few extra just in case. At the same time, we're going to need some oxalite for this. Let's make that, put 100 kilos of oxalite in there. The oxalite we're finding by, well, we're just digging up the map. There's actually oxalite on the map in random spots, so I think we're down, where was it? Over here. I think we dug out a bunch of oxalite right there. Wow, our dupes are fast. Over here. Yeah, we're going to grab some of this as well. I think we've managed to strip out all the low-hanging oxalite, but we're almost there. We've got, 1,200 kilos of oxalite in there. We have quite a bit of plastic. And if we go up to the top of the map, our rocket is just about ready. Though it didn't look so ready on the outside. I think it's glitched out graphically. Never mind. We also managed to get rid of a bunch of the shovels that were hanging around. They were being rather frustrating, as they normally are. But if we go and have a look at the interior, Orbital Microlab is set up. We have power going to it. And we're just waiting on plastic to get delivered. You know what? Let's make that a high priority. So we'll drop off the plastic there. Once the plastic's on the ground, we'll fill it full of oxalite and we might want to get some food. You know what? We'll just launch him off, get him to do a few research points, and then bring him back. We don't need anything crazy here. Let's see, get rid of that. And let's just go straight for the oxalite, I suppose. Actually, make it 1,000 kilos. We probably won't need it, but, you know, they're far more likely to die of lack of oxygen than they are to die of starvation if we do this right. Before we could launch this rocket, though, there is a couple of other things we had to do. Namely, we had to do a little bit of exploration of the star map using a telescope. The reason being, it wouldn't let us launch until we could pick a target to go to, and we couldn't pick a target to go to until we'd actually explored it with the telescope. So the telescope there, we just plugged it in right into the rocket. It's amazing that you can plug the stuff into the rocket now with these solar panels on it. So this thing is producing 120 watts, and you can just stack these up. You can turn this into a giant just solar array. It's more expensive than normal solar panels, but you can just stack an infinite amount of them. So if you're willing to make the glass, not a problem. I'm going to avoid doing that. I want to just run it entirely on nuclear power. I mean, it's the radiation update. I want to just have a giant amount of nuclear power powering our base. It just seems like the more fun way to do things. All right, with that done, we've also got everything in here set up. The only thing was, storage bin and plastic is good to go. And if we check under research, there's one last thing I'm hammering out, and that is durable life support. We can't afford it, but this allows you to get the Spacefarer module, and that allows you to do a more sustainable space travel. I mean, all we have to do is get one of these labs into space with a semi-sustainable spaceship that can stay up there for dozens of cycles, and we can hammer out the last of the science. So I think it's... While I would like to immediately rush nuclear, I want to get this first and then nuclear second. Let's skip this forward a little bit. First thing in the morning, it's bright and early. Our dedicated researcher, which is Philip Matthew Torres, they're going to have the skills necessary to do this. If we check them out here, you can see they have the orbital researcher trait. They've also got rocket piloting and one level of improved carry. In fact, we can put them in improved carry level 2. Not worth it, not at this time. They have now been assigned to the rocket. That should be their first chore of the day. Let's make sure that's what they're going to do because, seriously, we need them, recrewing rocket. Perfect. They're also set up to use the Atmo suit dock so they can grab a suit on the way out. Perfect. And then they'll head up to here. Alright, they're inside the rocket. They're assigned to it. But as far as I'm aware, they won't do the research. Yeah, while it's grounded, they can't do research. It has to be in the air. It doesn't matter where in the air. It just has to be in the air. Now, we can't launch, I don't think. Or is it blocked? Or can we begin launch sequence? I think we can. I thought we were going to have to delete the gantry. Never mind. For locations we're sending them to, we really just want to send them like one tile. You can't send them one tile, you have to send them at least two. So we're sort of sending them there. That will be as close as they're going to get. All right, let's fire this sucker up. Begin launch sequence, thank you very much. Oh, slow that down a little bit. And the reason we went with a sugar engine, it was because it was cheap. We just need to get them into orbit, we don't care what it is. Using steam or carbon dioxide would have taken more effort. That is a cool looking engine. Oh, and it doesn't destroy the gantries anymore? When did that happen? All right, straight to the star map, please. And come on, where are you? Once it's in space, all we want to do is just stop it on whatever tile it's in. In flight, orbiting to... Where is my rocket? Oop. You. Stop. I want you to change, select destination here. Perfect, you're in orbit. Nice. Yeah, that's it. Get out of there. I want this to be level 9 priority. This can be whatever priority. Oh, maybe they must have to finish the animation. All right, let's give this a minute. Okay, now that you're finally finished with that, will you use the microlab? Yes. What the hell? What? Okay, that's definitely a unique animation. Indeed. Alright, microlab, what are we at? Philip Matthews, the only thing that's actually going to determine when we return home is calories. That, and if they have come close to mental break territory, we don't want them destroying anything in the rocket capsule. But that is the progress on our science, and so long as we get those 5 points out, we can build a better research lab for next time round, and I think we can probably get this and nuclear reactors out. There we go. We got our first space science out of the way. That was not as painful as I was expecting. Now we want radiation refinement. Oh, and I really want to get rad bulk propulsion, but yeah, that's going to require us to have a more permanent science presence in space. Yeah, but come on. Reactors? It's got to be reactors next. Done. We have both of the researchers we came for finished, and it took us, just one rocket launch. This was actually relatively painless. This will allow us to do lots more of them, and this one is going to allow us to do radiation. Finally, we can do reactors. But with all of that done, it's time to just land again. And in fact, as far as I can... Oh, wrong one. We should be able to land pretty much instantly, so long as you're in orbit, as far as I recall. Change and land. Go for it. And here she comes. That means they spent, in one day, they went up and completed both researches. Now this is why it's always good to have a decent researcher. Nice. Okay, we'll make you no longer a crew and we'll get you out of there. We're not going to be using this thing. Oh, it does destroy it on landing, though. Okay. All hail the conquering hero, bringing us back nuclear reactors. Yes! But I am miles over budget. Doing all of this took way too much time. I think I would have done things slightly differently if I had to do this all over again. I still don't see the point of oxygen masks. Don't get me wrong, oxygen masks are great, but if we wanted to do this all over again, they wouldn't have really helped us so much. If you want to survive down here, it's 80 degrees. You can't send down dupes in just oxygen masks. They'll get scalded. You have to send them down in Atmo suits. So to get plastic, we needed to do that. Maybe the other planet that we could have teleported to would have an easier way of getting oil that wouldn't require us to use Atmo suits. Or maybe we could have just used, glossy Drecos. Glossy Drecos are always an option for getting plastic as well. There are other ways we could have went about it, but I like getting the Atmo suits because it did make tackling the space biome so much simpler. Also, this is sort of a necessity, doing all of this insulated rock. It stops this whole thing becoming freezing. If you need the obsidian so that you can keep the shovels from getting in. At the same time, the obsidian, we didn't have enough of it to make this all out of insulated, so I just sort of did one insulated layer on the outside of igneous rock, and then the cheaper obsidian and plain tiles on the inside. It only cost us a quarter of the mass to make them. As for these shovels, we're slowly but surely getting rid of all of them. They're otherwise just going to cause a giant mess. But next up, I'm thinking reactors. I'm not sure if we're going to go with one reactor or two. I was really wanted to go with 2 reactors, but I think I'll have to do a little bit of exploration off screen. Unless we've got some more uranium to work with on this planet, I don't think we've got enough to run 2 reactors for any sustained period of time, and that would be problematic. However, there is more uranium on the other planet, or the local planet, so we might be able to go across there and grab all your uranium from there. But for now, I am way over budget. I hope you enjoyed today's festivities, and good luck.